Okay, I think it should be, it says that we're streaming live. So good evening, Changemakers. Sandra Madafferi here, and welcome to another Monday Night Live. And I want to welcome everyone, wherever you're watching from, whether it be on the Facebook group, on YouTube, or listening to this on the podcast. And I'm very excited to say that tonight I have a very special guest. This lady, I have watched her grow and progress through her coaching career, and she's soon to become very, very soon, as in the next 3 weeks, to become a NLP trainer and hypnosis trainer. And I'm very proud of her achievements, and always very proud to see my students when they keep going further and further. So let me introduce to you a lady who comes from almost a Victorian, very close to being a Victorian, Donna Clark. Hi, Donna, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Sandra. How are you?
Great. How would you like to tell everyone a little about your journey and how you got here so far?
Yeah, so I was interested in NLP, and I came across Sandra online, had a bit of a chat to her, and suddenly realised there was a whole lot more to it than the NLP. So without much hesitation, I think it took much for me to jump on board and signed up for the NLP practitioner, and then also did 3-day hypno. That's progressed to neurochange, and obviously Sandra's trainings incorporate timeline therapy. So it's been an amazing journey over the last bit over 18 months, I think.
Yeah, just over 18 months, almost 2 years, I think. I think I spoke to you, it was December 2019. Or was it 2020? I can't remember now. Those years were a bit of a blur. So just tell everyone where you're from and how you're feeling right now. You are about to become a trainer as well, which is exciting.
Yeah. So I'm in regional South Australia, just over the Victorian border in Bordertown. And yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty nervous.
No,
first interview, but
nothing to
also
worry about at all. Nothing to worry about. So exciting times.
Yes.
So Donna, I'm being really passionate over the last couple of weeks. I've spoken to quite a few people, and you're my third special guest talking about students and our kids. And as I always say, our kids are our future, so we really need to look after them. So tell me a little bit about your niche, what exactly it is that you do, and what brought you to this.
Yeah, so I went to an event recently where there was a number of students receiving awards for some work that they'd done, and they continuously brought up words like negative self-talk. They were anxious, overwhelmed, depression, anxiety, and I was just like, oh my gosh, these kids are still got a couple of years of high school to go, and they're already feeling like that. And it took me back to when I was at high school, and sometimes there was feelings of not fitting in, and whether you're meeting the achievements of what you perceived you're supposed to get. So that made me, it really pulled at my heartstrings when I was hearing the kids talk like that. And I know how powerful these tools are and how much they've made me grow in the last 12 months. So being able to bring those to the youth and give them a head start to their future and see a whole lot more potential and possibility just, lights me up.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see that lights you up, because we have been working together for a little while, and I don't think I've ever seen you as passionate as what I see you now. So can I ask you, what do you think is causing all this? Because I do know that I've never seen kids more anxious, if that's even a way to say it, than what they are right now. So what do you think has actually created this?
Oh, good question.
So everyone can see this is just light. We don't prescript any of this. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Whether it's not having some of the tools available to help them progress through what they need to get through in high school, and then they've just suddenly got all this stuff and it becomes overwhelming and they don't know where to go first. There's, as they're maturing and the hormones are all changing, there's different things that happen and are said, and then if those emotions aren't dealt with at the time, and I know I was very guilty of suppressing my emotions, so I can see if we're able to help kids share that and not suppress it, then they can work through all of that and reduce the overwhelm.
Yeah, absolutely. And we always know overwhelm is because people look at everything rather than biting it, cutting it down into little chunk size or bite-sized pieces. So for someone who might be watching this that doesn't know as much about NLP and timeline therapy and hypnosis as we do, tell me a little bit about what tools you enjoy using the most with the kids, and what do you think will be the biggest benefit? I mean, I know that I know, but I want you to tell anyone who's watching, what tools would you say would be the biggest benefit to these kids at the moment?
There's definitely some great uses for hypnosis in there, especially as a bit of an icebreaker for those students that haven't experienced anything like this before. It's that nice, gentle entry level in, that if they've got those limiting beliefs that are holding them back, or those negative emotions that are just controlling them, then timeline therapy is unbelievably powerful. If only I had knew how powerful that was before I started this, yeah, I wouldn't have been quite so blown away.
The game changer, we call it.
Oh my God, yes.
Absolutely, the game changer. And yeah, absolutely, because our unconscious mind does rule everything that we do. And of course, these kids, if they've got some negative experiences growing up as kids, they take the negative experience into anything that they do moving forward. Because I know I had an incident which I can still remember when I was in grade 3, because for some reason I couldn't put one of those, those double-sided tacks into a paper plate that I was making a clock face for school. And I was quite shocked how old I was when that came up, when I was thinking, I'm hopeless and I can't do stuff. So
yeah, it's amazing how young we are when we hold on to something and we don't realize we're taking it through to our adult life. And we look back and go, that's such a small thing. But as that little girl, it was a massive thing.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it absolutely was, because I'd changed schools and I didn't like where I was going to school. We moved from the city to the country and I didn't quite like the school, and then that happened and it was just, a big game changer for me. So absolutely. So tell us a little bit about how you see yourself working with these kids. How, if someone was to contact you, tell me a little bit about how you would run through looking after their little ones.
Yeah, the first thing is to really just have a good chat with them and see what is going on for them. Let them break things down. So what they're telling us at the surface level isn't what is actually causing the problem. So just digging that bit deeper, obviously being kids, a whole lot more gentle with the process, just so that they can find that, and then just work through the different NLP and timeline therapy tools and hypnotherapy to help them break down through those stages, depending upon what it is for them.
Yeah. And do you envisage yourself working with all ages, or is there a particular age group that you're wanting to work with?
High school students, but any student is someone that I'd love to see excel, because that's where, when you're in that learning phase, is where you really learn to take on that knowledge and build that future that you're wanting to move into.
Yeah. And we've got some cool little strategies that we can teach the little ones too, which I think would be really, really cool. So what do you think, when it comes to these kids being stretched and all that, what do you think? Do you think it's part, and I'm going to say this because, as you know, there's been a couple of other people where we've spoken about kids in school. Do you think it's partly because there's not the resources to actually teach these kids how to be resilient?
Yeah. And to be honest, I think technology has a huge place to play in as well. Just when you're with your friends, you're not always with your friends. Like, mobile phones weren't around when I was a kid, so when you were with your friends, you're playing, you're doing something, you're interacting. But now there's a whole lot more, whether it's laptops and computer games or whether it's the mobile phones, they're on those more. So there's not that personal interaction, which I think makes a huge difference.
Do you think mobile phones should be banned at school?
During school time, yeah. Get the kids to be kids.
Yeah.
And work with strategies that work for them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do you want to talk a little bit more on that? I liked that. Work with strategies that work for them.
Well, we don't all learn the same way. So when there's, and there may be more than one student in a class, being able to work with them in a format that they understand. So that the written stuff on the board for some they don't get it. If you can bring it in and even relay the same information another way, then they'll get it. I even think of maths, the way they do maths now with the whole chunking and grouping.
I have no idea. That's
trying to
completely over my head. I mean, I haven't had a kid at school for 10 years, 12 years. I don't know.
My kids have come home and gone, no, but we have to do it like this. And I'm like, I don't know how to teach that. Like, I don't know how to work with you on that. So, oh, goody shy. Yeah, just I've had to go back to my way, work out the answer, and then go, okay, now how does that come into the way you're being taught now? Okay. So, yeah.
That's interesting. So that's interesting, actually, because it almost, what it says to me is that perhaps parents need to be given a guide of what they're doing at school now too, because, you know, the kids have come home to do their homework, and if parents don't know how to do that because they've not been taught that way, it's going to be a little bit hard for the parents to explain how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Like, I know my niece was having some homework with maths, and I was actually in Adelaide doing prac training, and part of the bargain was I was sitting there at the table, and it's like, I can get up and help with tea, or I can help with the homework. Thankfully, she had a book. So it had how to do it and the answers in the back. So I was like, okay, let's do a practice one. Okay, I've got it right. So that's awesome as a parent.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you were going back to your brother's, I think it was, during prac training and helping your niece. Yeah. So, yeah, there's been a lot of things that have changed, and I think that would add to kids' anxiety because they're going home and the parents are probably looking at it going, I don't know how to do this. So they're getting stressed because they don't know what they're doing. And then, of course, the stress passes on to the kids. So
feeding it to them.
Yeah. So I think, you know, one of the things that I think, you know, I really believe needs to happen is, and I know that the education system is under the pump, and I get that, but I really think that there has to be an overhaul of what's going on in the education system to just make it easier for, you know, the parents, and then of course making it easier for the kids, because if the parents are calmer when the kids are doing their homework, then the kids are going to be calmer as well.
Yeah, for sure. But even the teachers, like, they're having to relearn all this stuff so they can then teach it to the students. So in that first portion, if they're still trying to grasp it for themselves on the new teaching method, then that's definitely going to like the kids are going to pick up on that.
Okay. So yeah, so now that I've said that, you might be able to work with some parents as well.
Yeah.
if they're needing a little bit of help with that. But I do have to agree. I think social media has caused an incredible level of stress and anxiety for our kids. And as we know, in NLP, we have a cool little in timeline therapy, actually, we have a cool little technique that when you show people the anxiety model, they go, "Is that it?" And yes, it is. And they go, "What?" Because they don't. Sometimes the techniques are so quick and so easy that I think people can't actually believe what we've done.
Yeah, in such a short period of time. Yeah, for sure.
And, the other thing is, you might be working with the kids for their schooling, the students to do things like exam anxiety and, getting rid of the negative emotions and the limiting decisions when it comes to school. But it then carries on to their life, doesn't it? So it's not just about school.
100%. Like, I know going through Master Practitioner and doing the breakthrough that we do there, just going back to work after that, like, I could tell I was different and other people could tell I was different. So there's the saying that what you do in one place moves out into the other areas of your life. So
yeah, the way you do one thing, you do everything. Absolutely.
That's it.
You know what? If you feel you're not good enough or you feel you can't do something, it's going to show everywhere. It's not just going to show in that, at school. So, it's important that we get rid of all of that and, as you say, create confident kids, because these kids are our future and they really do deserve to feel good about themselves and feel confident. And I don't know whether I didn't notice it when my kids were growing up, but I just see a lot of really stressed out kids these days.
Yeah.
So sure. The system's not working, and I think we need to look at doing something else because it's not really great. So tell us, if anyone wants to reach out to you, well, they're not going to be able to reach out for you till the month of October. Donna's going to be very busy becoming a trainer, which is fantastic. But what sort of programs, just tell me a little bit about what sort of programs you're going to run after October, what sort of things are you planning to do, and how people can get in contact with you.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to run some small hypno sessions. So just on different topics that can give the kids that little bit more confidence and help sort of start breaking some of those barriers that they've got. I'm going to work on some like small programs that I'll release out that the kids can do as well, where we just jump online for an hour or two once a week and give them some tools and techniques that they can take through and use through their study. And then there'll also be coaching opportunities that they can come in and see me. So I can be found on social media, either on my personal profile as Donna Clark, or I've got Donna Clark Enchanted Wellness across the social media platforms.
Yeah, and people can absolutely contact me as well if they're wanting to get in touch with you, which will be great. So for anyone who watches this, if you have got school-age kids that have self-confidence issues, anxiety, what else would you say to throw in the mix there, Donna? The
overwhelm of school, and if they just feel like they're burdened with some of those big negative emotions, once you shift those, it's amazing how much better you feel.
Yeah, and
even
and
in your body.
It allows the kids to be more themselves than who they allow themselves to be at the moment, because there would be just so much pressure of doing well, and coming to the end of the year now, the pressure would be huge. And some of these kids, if they could just believe in themselves and get that out of the way, they would be able to perform at their absolute best. Plus, like we said, some of the cool strategies that we can teach kids, spelling, learning, the learning state.
Well, then putting that learning strategy into practice.
Yeah. You will have. So that's cool. So thank you again for being here, and thank you for everyone for listening. So as I said, next week there will not be any Monday lives for a few weeks, not until the 24th of October for me, because as Donna is becoming a trainer, I'm becoming a master trainer, which is very, very exciting to have one of my students sitting through trainers training just as I'm becoming a master. So that's really, really exciting for me. So thank you so much for giving me that honor of having a student. But if the kids, if your kids need a little bit of help and they're not feeling confident, I'll get Donna to put the links up on Facebook after we finish this, and absolutely, definitely be in touch. She's very empathetic, so she's got a really kind heart, and the kids will absolutely love her, and definitely can work over Zoom as well with the kids. So just get in contact and she'll be able to sort those littlies out. I call them littlies. I feel like they're littlies, but I suppose when they're in high school, they're not so little, and get them on the right path to fulfilling their dreams and living a healthy and happy life. So thanks a lot for being here. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.